Oh no, I'm just trying to take my thumbnail. Hi, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel, and we're doing my March TBR. I have 8 books that I'm going to physically show you that I want to try and prioritize this month, and I'm hoping to read more than this, especially since the Kindle clear out is going to be happening this month. That's probably going to be its own little thing. I haven't even looked at any of the prompts, so maybe some of these, the majority of these I actually do have on ebook or Audible. Not Audible, or audiobook. So I mean some of these could even end up being on my Kindle clear out TBR, since I do have them already on my Kindle or audiobook formats. So let's get to it. The first book, which I'm already reading because I'm obviously doing this video late because I suck. First book I want to tackle is Her Wicked Marquess by Stacey Reed. I'm almost done with this one. I'm loving it. I'll talk about it later, but this is the last book in the Winter of the Wallflower read along, and it makes me sad that we are at the close of this read along. Thankfully, spring is right around the corner and a new theme will emerge. But anyways, so this is the first book that I want to read. This is the first book I'm reading for March. The next 2 books I really need to prioritize because I missed a couple weeks with The Winter of Wallflower and I haven't read 2 of the books. I suck. But things happen, and those 2 books are Secrets of a Summer Night by Lisa Kleypas and The Ruin of a Rake by Kat Sebastian. This I have started. I want to say I'm like 2 or 3 chapters in. So these 2 books I really need to get done in the next week or 2 because I'm going to be doing a video on Winter of the Wallflower. Be on the lookout for that, where I'm going to rank them. I'm going to give my average rating, my overall rating of the season. I'm super excited for that. So I need to read these 2 books. This is a fan favorite amongst like everyone, and then this is a highly anticipated read of mine. I have a lot of Lisa Kleypas's books up there, and I either only like the book or I really love the book. So at least I don't hate her books. But I'm super excited to get these done in March. And then the next 2 books I'd like to get to is Faye Fever by Karen Marie Moning and Dream Fever by Karen Marie Moning. Faye Fever is the 3rd book in the Fever series, and Dream Fever is the 4th book. If I can read more in this series, since I think there's 11 out, that would be great, but I at least want to prioritize reading 2 of them. I did start this one, and I'm only like 60 pages in, I think, something like that. And I'm loving it. This series is just great. I love it so much. It's an urban fantasy romance series, but like the romance is drawn out throughout the entire series. There's no romance in the first book. The second book you get a little bit, But the entire time sexual tension is happening and I'm here for it. But yes, I'm really enjoying these books. So I hope to read 2 of them in March. The next book is another challenge of mine that I want to do in 2021, and it's to read this entire series. So I want to at least read the first one in March, hopefully 2, but I'm only going to put 1 on my TBR for right now. If I can read more, awesome. If not, can I just get through this one first, because I want to read the series. This is Wicked Intentions by Elizabeth Hoyt. This is so beloved by so many people, and I'm so excited to dive into this series. This is the Maiden Lane series, and I'm just so excited. I need to read this, like, soon. The next book I'd like to try in March is The Orchid Throne by Jeff Kennedy. Either Jeffy or Jeff. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Isn't this cover gorgeous, guys? Oh. I recently got invited to read the 3rd book in this series, but since I haven't read the first 2, I figured I might as well grab the first 2 and read the first 2 and then read the 3rd one, because it's a fantasy romance, and I have a feeling that you can't just... I think it's fantasy romance. I know it's romance. It sounds fantasy. It's about a princess and a forgotten empires. Prince among men, prisoner of fate. I don't know. I have no idea what this is about. I'm kind of going in it blind, but I love going in things blind because I end up liking them more if I go in blind without any expectations. But seriously, these covers. These covers are gorgeous. Like, okay. So yes, so this is the 7th book that I would like to read in March. And the last book I would, well, not last, but the last book on this TBR list that I would really like to conquer this month is Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is a young adult paranormal romance series, and I absolutely loved the first book. The first book has a lot of the world building and info and getting you used to the world, and I'm hoping this one is a little bit more fast-paced, considering it is a behemoth of a book, and it is 684 pages. Just so you know, the 3rd one came out yesterday, and that has even more pages. Anyways, this is very Twilight-esque, but darker. I really, really enjoyed the first book, and I really liked the first one. And I need to read this one. I meant to read this back in September when it came out. I failed because the end of 2020 just was not great for my reading. But I'd like to pick this one up in March, maybe even the one that just came out. But I don't know, we'll see. I do have this in audio, so I might use this towards my Kindle Clear Up. We'll see. A lot of these I have in audio. And actually a lot of them I have in ebook too, because I suck at life. So yeah. So these are the books that I'd like to prioritize in reading this month, and I would like to read even more than this, but I'm limiting it to only showing 8 on my TBR because I usually only read about 8 to 10 books a month, except for February. February is always a slower reading month for me, but I'd like to try and pick up my reading pace, and instead of watching Buffy, which I'm almost done with, I have like a season and a half and then I'm done. Instead of watching TV, which is not gonna stop because I love it so much, I'd like to try to read more than 8 books a month, but we'll see. We will see. I know I can at least read 2 books a week, so let's try and amp that up to 3 books a week. Who knows? With the Kindle Clear Out readathon happening, I might be able to read a lot more. I did fairly well on the Kindle Clear Out readathon when it happened in... When did that happen? September? August? October? November? I don't know when it was, but I did pretty decently during the readathon portion. So maybe I can do well again. Anyways, let me know if you've read any of these books, if you enjoyed them or hated them. I don't care. I want to talk about them. Let me know what you plan to read in March. And are you reading any of the books that I'm reading? Maybe? You want a buddy read? Why am I being weird? If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you aren't a subscriber and you want to subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it and love you forever for it. But until next time, happy reading!